Hello again, everybody. Let's get stuck straight into this drum lesson for Limbo by Royal Blood. At the very start of the song, there's some basic drums that have a bit of a filter on them. It's just kick, snare, like this. Then there's a chuggy 2-bar riff before the verse starts, and this is how the drums go. If you do have a second crash cymbal on your right hand side, it's going to make playing that a lot easier, so keep that in mind. Moving on, we're into the verse. We're playing a floor tom groove, and I think it incorporates a lot of paradiddles and doubles. If you can't get it up to speed, I want you to think about using your fingers to just squeeze those doubles a little bit faster and a little bit tighter. It might take some practice, but it's definitely something that's going to sound great once you have it up to speed. I'll go through the verse. It's 4 bars. We'll do it slowly, and then we'll speed it up. You might have noticed for those first 16th notes, I'm playing a paradiddle, and that just makes it easier to get onto the snare drum with the left hand on beat 2. Right, left, right, snare. In the second bar, there's 2 floor tom hits, and that's way easier to play with one hand as well as a little double. Right, left. That way you're not crossing over and you're not having to worry about which hand's coming up next. Keep that in mind. Like I said, if it is too tricky, you can come up with your own thing. It's only a guideline, but if you can wrap your head around the paradiddles and the doubles, it's going to make playing this groove a lot easier. At the end of this little bit, there's one tiny little stop as a fill. It goes like this. That takes us into the chorus, and luckily this is a bit simpler than the verses, especially if you've done an offbeat hi-hat pattern before. Here's how it goes. I'll play the next 4 bars. They're very similar, just a few different sizzles on the hi-hats. Now I'll put those 8 bars together, and that's the first half of the chorus. From there, we wrap around again and do those same 8 bars, except for the very end, there's a slightly different stop. That stop right on beat 4 leaves us nice and open to go back into the chuggy riff from the very start of the song. So coming out of that is just a little bit different. Instead of the snare drum, we're moving down the toms. That takes us into the second verse, and to start this off, there's some great hits up on the crash cymbal. Here's what they sound like. Those crash cymbals follow really closely with the riff, so just keep an ear out for that and you'll definitely hear it. Let me put that into the context of the verse. So we go through verse 2, much the same as verse 1. There's one slightly different feel halfway through. And then the fill right at the end of the verse is a little bit different. It's a good one. Sounds like this. From there, we go back into the chorus, and that's just the same as the first time around. After that, we have that chuggy riff again, but this time there's a great little fill in the second bar. I'll break it down slowly. That fill is definitely a little bit tricky, so what I might recommend doing is just going back in the video to where the transcription is, pause it, and then see if you can line up the notes. See which ones hit together, see which ones hit in the gaps, and once your hands know what they're supposed to do, eventually you'll be able to speed it up and it will sound great. Moving on, we are into the bridge. Luckily for us, it's quite easy. We're going to play 8th notes on the kick drums and some open hi-hats as well. The thing that kind of tricks me up a little bit is that the chord changes are always a bit before the beat, so they're kind of on the end of 4. So keep an ear out for that and don't adjust your playing to move that to beat 1. If that makes sense, it could be a little bit confusing. Anyway, here's what we'll play for the bridge. That goes on for quite a while. I think it goes around for 3 times. And then after that, we've got a quieter section that sounds kind of like it's underwater. And for that, we'll just play the kick drum with 8 notes. So that whole bridge section is pretty straightforward. The one thing to look out for is the fill coming out of it. And here's how it sounds. That one was tricky to pick out by ear, so I had to check out a live recording, and it definitely looks like he's incorporating the kick drum just to make traveling the hands a little bit easier. After that fill, we're back into basically a verse groove. It just changes a little bit in the 4th bar each time, so let me play the first 4 bars. And then the second 4 bars. And further down the track, there's one variation on that fill I just played, adding open hi-hats over the top. And there we go, that is Limbo by Royal Blood. There's a bit of stuff in the drums that might take a bit of practice just to get up to speed, but once you get it there, it's definitely going to sound fantastic jamming along to the track. So have fun with that one, happy practicing, and I'll see you at the next lesson.